So, no intro today. We're just starting off with the Deep Colosseum. Welcome back, everybody, to a brand new episode of Pokemon Colosseum. And well, I do mean that we have no other things to do. We're just starting off the entirety of the Deep Colosseum to just have some fun. This was recorded over Discord, and this took me roughly 2.5 hours, which I'm very happy for. But it also just shows that I cannot have edited this down more than I could have, because the main mechanic of this will show up soon, and well, I'd rather just have it be in an actual perfect speed, perfect like normal speed for everyone to see. But I will say this: when I did this recording for the B-roll, I still had some troubles. So we have that going on with us. But I will explain that once we go on more. But by the time we are doing this voiceover, I am technically done with this game. I have completed everything in this game. I just need to sit down and record the good old voiceover for the last episode. So I just get to do these now. But yeah, Deep Colosseum, we were getting a bunch of hints yesterday. Yesterday we had to defeat Gonzap and just grab the D-Disc, which takes us down here. And from that miner we were talking to before, or the worker, a bunch of Teeth Snagum's admins are filing their teeth to fight us here. And here we are with our first of our refights with one of the cipher admins. They're not that long, but they are here. Say hello to Mir B again. And if anything, his music does show up again during the Deep Colosseum fight, and I am very happy that it does. He starts off with Ludicolo, level 64, Swift Swim for his ability with the moves Rain Dance, Giga Drain, Hydro Pump, and Nature Power. And Ludicolo, level 63, Swift Swim for his ability with the moves Hydro Pump, Giga Drain, Ice Beam, and Rain Dance. So yeah, he's back with his Ludicolo grind, he's back with his Rain Dance team, and if anything, he just wants to have some fun again. And if anything, I didn't know that I have that much trouble with Mirby. Honestly, going out through the entirety of the Deep Colosseum, I did not have any problems, which I am very excited for and very happy to say. But there was one part that I had trouble with, and if anything, I'd rather just leave that for when we go do that. But other than that, it's just your box standard like refights with the cipher admins. And if anything, I had a couple people asking in the Discord like what was the whole point of this. It was just for completion, but like it was really cool that you had to sit down here and just refight all the bosses you fought before. But I will say this area here is your final area to capture all the shadow Pokemon from the cipher admins in the game. It's not that they disappear after this, they still stay for the rounds in Deep Colosseum, but more in the sense that, say you have not caught a Raikou, like Ein's Raikou, you have to go through a bunch of fights just to get to Ein again, and not just if his Raikou doesn't die immediately again. So like, yeah, this is your final chance to get Shadow Pokemon, but if that's your case, you're gonna be having a bad time with that, because, well, it's just literally you're fighting over and over again. And for some people, it's not that fun. But hey, do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do. But I will say this, another thing that's just been fun about the Deep Colosseum is, well, how it looks. The Deep Colosseum, from the worker we talked to yesterday as well, said that it was based off a mining, or like a mine shaft that they were doing on. It just got repurposed to a Colosseum. And if anything, all the Pokemon here are from the early till late 60s. So it's pretty much a lot of fun. And Mirror B is the first one after round 1. You just have to get through the first 4 fights. The first 3 fights. Then go to the 4th one to have fun. And if anything, it's just pretty good. His Pokemon are usually around the like early to mid 60s. His lowest is 63 and his highest is 65. But with that, his first Ludicolo is down. Next Pokemon coming out is Exploud, level 64, soundproof for its ability with the move Shadow Ball, Extrasensory, Takedown, and Earthquake. And if anything, when I was doing this before, when I saw Mirror B coming up, I wanted to use Mischievous more because I get a free Rain Dance because Mirror B's AI is always shown to do Rain Dance for Swift Swim and Rain Dish. So I just said, I have Mischievous here, I have Thunder, I'ma just use it and just spam it because, well, he's just gonna keep doing that. My first Pokemon of Flygon is gone. And if anything, you'd be seeing like, well, how I start my teams. Usually how I did this is that I just put Pokemon that need the level ups into the front. And then after that, I just switched them off. And it was pretty good though. Then the Thunder did not kill it, and then my Mischievous goes down immediately after the Exploud because, well, I didn't get a crit, so I cannot use Thunder anymore, and I'm just left with good old Fortress and Espeon out. Which sucked because I really wanted to spam Thunder more, but I can't do anything else, so just keep on doing it. In the Colosseums, you can actually use items like Revives, Potions, and all that. You did see me use a Super Potion before. And you can use those. They don't penalize you. But it's up to you if you want to or not. And if anything, I did use that. Next, Explode is down, so meaning his next Pokemon should come out soon. And if anything, the guy who I was talking to in the recording, Ludicolo level 65, Rain Dish for its ability with the moves Rain Dance, Giga Drain, Dive, and Leech Seed. Basically, when I was in the VC, one of the people there was like liking how Ludicolo was and was very sad when I knocked all the Ludicolos down. But yeah, I'm very sad that one of the Pokemons you can grab because it's not a Shadow Pokemon or not a Wild Pokemon in the sequel XD is Lotad, so you cannot get a Ludicolo, which is very, very sad. But honestly, with how I am, I usually try to be a little safe with some people. And that's why I did Protect with Fortress, so I don't have to get Leech Seeded or Hydro Pumped. And then since the rain stopped, I knew I had a free turn technically to do stuff. And I know during this fight I had my old Fortress because of because well, I had spikes in it, and spikes are good. Don't get me wrong, spikes are really good, but they're not stealth rocks because flying just gets away from it. So I just used that free turn to just do a Psychic. I thought they were gonna attack me this turn, but one got full destroyed and the other one just went for Rain Dance. So that's just pretty much how it works. But other than that, what do you call it? Nothing other major happens in the Mirror B fight. It was just a simple refight with them. I did lose some of my Pokemon to some bad luck, but other than that, just tried to get rid of all of them. I did get Leech Seeded from this Ludicolo, and I think I did do an attack with I did do Toxic with Fortress before he got knocked out by the Leech Seed, which still led us to do something. Then the Poison Out's good. Any other things I remember from this is that, said before though, this was the final point to get the Shadow Pokemon, and I would have actually left that part in from like the live recording, but no. This video is already long enough. You guys are already seeing how long this video is, but like yeah, I'd rather just like leave it with just not the audio, the actual visual part, the video there, and all that. And what do you call it? It's just very fun to do. And one other thing that I did in this fight was just talk a lot. And I remember when doing this recording, I know in the previous recording for the under, and you're gonna see it later on, I did these like, I did some of this after I came out of work because I had time to do it. Next Ludicolo is down, and his final Pokemon is out. Armaldo, level 65. Battle armor for its ability with the moves Aerial Ace, Rock Slide, Metal Claw, and Strength. And well, speaking of before, I just did these after work because I had the time, it was a weekend, and I could afford to sleep late. So I did it, and I remember someone else joined in. I think like because we were in a Discord server for a VTuber. That same VTuber actually joined in the VC to talk a bit, and it felt like I was just being like the jester to that because I'm just playing a game, not out of necessity but completion. It's still fun. I had fun doing these, but oh god, was it like a terrible experience? But we are nearing the end of the fight of this. We just had the Ludicolo and the Armaldo, and if anything, I did say that I was going to keep some story progress within this area, and I do. And more in the sense that I'm just going to leave it on the screen later on for you guys to like pause and read, because it is there, so you guys can pause earlier. But if you want it like normally, that doesn't like go far too fast, you can pause it later, and I'll tell you when to pause. But with that, I'm like down to 2 Pokemon because I used a revive on my Mischievous to like revive her. And usually I would love to go like what I was thinking about the strategies of this game, trying to think of what to do. But most of the times I was just button mashing or just going on autopilot for some of the Pokemon. And if anything, I keep forgetting that I always keep forgetting that since Armaldo's a bug rock, it gets rid of the weakness to grass, but it still has the weakness to water. And I did not figure that, or I did not know that, or didn't reinforce that until I got into the final part of the game where I saw Super Effect and I'm like, all right, he's a rock type. It's just bug gets rid of the grass weakness. But really just here fighting the rest, or the final Pokemon Armaldo. And I did say back in the Venus fight in Welcome Tower that we were going to see her replacement for the Shadow Pokemon, because we actually do have that. But just another Shadow Ball Solar Beam combination, and we can just get rid of this Armaldo. If the Shadow Ball doesn't kill, Solar Beam will. So yeah, this first refight is not that bad. It is the first one of many, and if anything, it's just a little sprinkle of what to expect within the Deep Colosseum. So, with that out of the way, we get to go up to round 2. We're gonna miss you, Mirby, but let's have some fun. Also, as you've been hearing in the background, you get to hear the Cipher Peon battle, because I am dumb. I know this is not going to be in the recording. You're going to hear a different song, the actual song for this one, but in my editing software, I have the wrong song in it, but I wanted to keep this one in because it keeps me awake. But yeah, the actual song you should be hearing in the background right now should be the Cipher admin fight, because that's what's normally going to play, and since you're fighting refights with all the Cipher admins, it makes a lot more sense to sit down and hear that song. So if you hear me complain about the song choice I have, it's not the actual song choice, it's just me being dumb. But round 2 is starting up right now, and if anything, I had an easier round 2 than a round 1. And right now, you should see the email that we've gotten from Net. every time you get an email from Net, it will be explaining the story of the Deep Colosseum, and you'll be getting more hints about your final fight of Deep Colosseum. And if anything, it's pretty cool. So like, yeah, if you wanted to read that email, you could have just paused it and read it, either from before when you saw it normally or when you saw the small version of it. And if anything, I'm very happy that they do give you those, but it sucks that I had to do this as like a full background recording, so I couldn't read it in like my normal, like, what is it, like Let's Player voice, normal voice I do for reading stuff, because, well, it's just, I had to do this in, not in 2 hours, but like in a recording. And we're all just like, everyone in Discord is just like saying their own stuff. We just think of like different topics to talk about and all that. And this time, during the recording, I actually did not get kicked out immediately out of the recording because of Wi-Fi issues. So, and if you guys didn't know this, or you guys did see this, in the Deep, or in the other Colosseum, I also played that we just got kicked off, and it was funny. But that didn't happen this time, so everyone got to see the entirety of the Deep Colosseum. But here are at semi-final, or final number 2 for Colosseum Battle number 2, and we get to fight Dakeem again. And if anything, I was dreading him the most, because Dakeem's just, his whole strategy is just Earthquake the move. But Dakeem starts off with Soul Rock, level 65, Levitate for its ability with the moves Rock Slide, Earthquake, Sunny Day, and Explosion. And Clay Doll, level 63, Levitate also for its ability with the moves Psychic, Earthquake, Sunny Day, and Solar Beam. So basically, we started off with a double Earthquake team, but I had Quagsire out immediately on the first one. And just did a Surf immediately. I thought I was going to crit with the Surf and take out both Clay Doll and Soul Rock, but that did not happen because Clay Doll did Solar Beam first one, or did Solar Beam round 1, meaning it couldn't do anything. But since Quagsire is a lot slower than the other 2 Rock Pokemon on the other side, it literally is like my slowest Pokemon on my team, it could not deal damage enough. I could have left it with the Quick Claw, but Soft Sand with EQ, making Stab Earthquake more powerful, is a good idea. So that's literally what happens at the beginning of this fight. I lose my Water User, which sucks, so I cannot deal with the ground types normally, but since they're both Psychic types, as soon as I lost Quagsire, I went for Mischievous for Shadow Ball to take out both Clay Doll and Soul Rock. More simple. I would have loved to take in them out with water, but nah. Also, if anything, since they're gonna be spamming Earthquake, I could have actually done Protects. Like looking back on it now, I could have done more Protects with Fortress. But if, in all honesty, Fortress has the HP to take it, and I don't have to worry about it because Fortress is not there to attack, it's just there to prog up Toxics, put up spikes at this time, and if I want it, I could just let it blow up as a final act of desperation to do damage. But just spamming Shadow Ball is a good idea. With that, Clay Doll is almost dead, which I'm very surprised that he lived off of like 1 HP. But since I called out another EQ, it's just unproductive turn from everyone, since everyone cannot be damaged by Earthquake. Clay Doll is down now from the poison, which I'm very happy to put up a poison, and his first Pokemon is gone. So during this fight, I actually got double edge, and I was talking to some of the people in the Discord if I should get rid of like spikes for double edge because it's 120 with an 100% accuracy. And I wanted to like have an actual like physical move on my Fortress because my only problem with Fortress is that it's good for defensive strats, but do I just keep spikes because it's good block in damage? But I actually decided to go with double edge instead of spikes during this fight because, well, later on like the last episode of this LP, you're gonna see why. But if anything, it's just funny. So, yeah, I replaced spikes for double edge, or replaced spikes with double edge for an actual physical attacking move, and now Fortress can actually do damage for once, while still having protect, toxic, and explosion. And if anything, what do you call it? Going on with this, like, it was a good thing doing this over, over like recording in the Discord. I could actually do a bunch of talking with some of the people there who know Pokemon more than I do, and just had fun trying to like think of a strategy or just talk in general. But his next Pokemon right now is Flygon, level 64, levitate for its ability with the moves Fire Blast, Earthquake, Sunny Day, and Solar Beam. No dragon moves on this Flygon, which I'm very surprised for. But if anything, was more of a blessing in disguise, because I could have gotten rid of my Flygon, or it cannot get rid of my Flygon because, well, it doesn't have a dragon type move. I left my Fortress in to see if I can do some damage, but Fire Blast is too strong, and it's the AI, so it just knocks out my Fortress way earlier. But if anything, it was funny to get rid of that, but what do you call it? I could have switched out, but I think for me, most of my strats with Pokemon, or in general with these games, is that I'd rather not have someone switch in and take unnecessary damage, or just get killed immediately because I wanted to swap out. If I don't need them anymore, I will just sack them, just so I can get a clean switch in. And since I have both Levitate users on the field, no value was lost when Earthquake was being progged. And since with this I had a simple 1-2 combo of Dragon Breath on Flygon and Shadow Ball on Solrock to get rid of them. And since I got a crit on the Flygon, it gets rid of the Flygon immediately, which I'm very happy for, because Flygon is one of my worst opponents in the Keen's roster. But next up is Swampert, level 65, torn for its ability with the moves Muddy Water, Earthquake, Ice Beam, and Protect. Now here's where we get into a bit more of a problem. Since that Swampert has Ice, Flygon and Meganium are both in danger because they're both weak to Ice. And there's no other weakness that Swampert has other than Grass, and I don't have any HP Grass, nor anyone else with a Grass type move. His last Pokemon is Houndoom, level 65, early bird for his ability with the moves Protect, Fire Blast, Sunny Day, and Solar Beam. And if anything, this is more of the normal Dakim fight. Most of the Cipher admins will use X items like Nasker and Evis did to increase the normal like potency of their Pokemon. So X accuracy for I think it was Dakim, or X speed for later on. They do use it, and if they do use those moves or those items, you get basically a free turn, which is how I just got enough damage to knock out Houndoom from the team, or from the fight. It was very easy because I got a free Earthquake to use and had a lot of fun. I used Dragon Breath on Swampert, hoping that if it didn't kill, it would most likely paralyze it, but it was enough damage to knock out the Swampert, and a pretty clean Dakim fight on round 2, much more faster than it was for Mirror B. With that, we are done with round 2 of the Colosseum for the Deep, and the Deep Colosseum has 5 rounds. We are 2/5 of the way there. And now after that, we get another email from Net, and we'll see it later on, so if you want to pause when you see that image, you can pause and see it. But we are on round 3. And I will say this, once we get to the final fight, I will explain it, but round 3 for me was the hardest fight, or was the hardest round for me, because, well, RNG's a bitch. RNG's fun, but it's a bitch. Right now you should see the email that had sent us, and he's been talking about the Deep King, as they call him, and what kind of Pokemon he uses to be at the top over there. And if anything, you do get an answer for that later on throughout the fight. But I will say this, as stated before, round 3 for me was the hardest fight in the game. Not because I keep dying in the beginning. If anything, this is my first attempt at round 3. And we're already at the semi-final for round 3. So it's pretty fast how much I did it. But once we get to the final, fight of round 3, I will explain why. Because it equates to why I had to record this this Colosseum for 2.5 hours. It wasn't fun. Welcome to Deep Colosseum Fight 3, or the final round 3, and we get to fight basically my eternal demon in this game, because why does it always do that? Say hello to Venus again. And Venus is the reason why I had to do this fight 3 times. Venus starts up with Raichu, level 63. Static Flexibility with the moves Thunderbolt, Attract, Thunder Wave, and Sweet Kiss. And Blissey, level 65. Serene Grace Flexibility with the moves Attract, Water Pulse, Flamethrower, and Psychic. Honestly, the Venus fight for me was so much of a dick to deal with because of her strat. Her strat, or her team composition all goes around the Attract move. And Attract is RNG based, because if you get the good RNG, the infatuation will just make your moves not want to hit. You will not get anything working to hit. But both Raichu and Blissey are down immediately because of EQ. Very good, and I was very surprised when I did the third fight when I got both of them down. But her last 2 Pokemon, in my opinion, are just the worst because it's just so bad. Next up is Dusclops, level 64, pressure for its ability with the moves Attract, Confuse Ray, Will-O-Wisp, and Shadow Punch. And Meganium, level 64, overgrow for its ability with the moves Leech Seed, Attract, Ingrain, and Flamethrower. And if anything, my thing there is pretty bad, because I have Flamethrower in my notes and I see Giga Drain. My notes are good, guys. I think I just got the wrong one. Or Bulbapedia has the wrong one, because I've been in this fight too long to know that Giga Drain's there. But the whole point of this Meganium is that it's a stall Pokemon. And here's the first of the times where my goddamn capture card got kicked. But yeah, what do you call it? This Meganium is a bitch. It's a stall Meganium with only 2 moves, or technically 1 move, and Attract. It has Giga Drain just to keep its HP up, and the only way to deal with that Meganium is to do, god damn it, to do what do you call it? Poison or burning it, but if you burn it, you're probably gonna kill it. Leech Seed and Ingrain are there for it to keep staying up. It does Leech Seed first to get rid of the HP from one Pokemon, and then does Ingrain the next to stay in the rounds to not die. And if anything, Giga Drain, it will always use Giga Drain as its attack because you cannot pass in this game. But since Mischievous took a very good Shadow Punch and didn't die, Dusclops is down, and we get to the final Pokemon of Venus's team. And the other reason why is just I had to restart the fight. Milotic, level 65, Marvel Scale for its ability with the moves Attract, Ice Beam, Confuse Ray, and Hydro Pump. Ice Beam is bad for my Flygon, and it is my only good attacking Pokemon. Especially since it got Attract, it cannot do anything. So Ice Beam comes out, knocks out my Flygon, and I'm back to square one. It's very, very fun to deal with. And the majority of the latter part of this fight is just my team versus Meganium and Milotic. That's it. And this is the reason why I had to do this fight 3 times, because of Attract working and legitimately my Pokemon not doing any moves. I couldn't do anything against this team. And since my only fire type move was on Flygon, I couldn't knock out the Meganium. And since my only way to do damage is Thunder with Misdreavus, I cannot proc Thunder because it's on a 70% chance. Hopefully, if I ever want to do this fight again, I will probably plan a little better. But since you cannot grind out money for moves that are decent, like Flamethrower, what are you supposed to do? But yeah, it's just my final fight against these two, and if anything, spamming Protect would have been a good idea, but I'd rather do damage to knock out Pokemon now than later. But since my Meganium is slower than the Milotic and its own other counterpart, it gets confused, right? And now I'm back to square one of hoping it can attack. Especially since it's confused and attracted. Because that's an actual strat they can do. They can confuse you and then attract you, or they can attract you and paralyze you with which is what the Raichu is there to do. It's very funny, but it makes it work. The Meganium is down because I got a really good crit on the Razor Leaf, meaning I'm just down to Milotic and I can deal with Milotic. But the only bad part is that it has Ice Beam, meaning my Meganium is going to be going down no matter what I do because I do not have Protect on it. Light Screen's fine, but I don't think I've ever used Light Screen in my entirety of my game, which I could have just replaced it with Protect to deal with Ice Beam. Speaking of Ice Beam, there goes my Meganium right now. Meganium's a tanky girl. But yeah, other than that, it was just a very fun thing to do. I put up a sunny day, so because I thought I could do Solar Beam next turn, like heal up, and then yeah, that's what I literally do. I heal up my Meganium because it didn't kill it instantly, so I can prog up a Solar Beam to deal decent damage on it. And I think it turned out well. Yeah, basically lived on the Magic Pixel, but it knocked itself out because Confusion's a bitch. You can have good strats, you can think of good ways to defeat Pokemon, but RNG is still a bitch and will take you out if you want to. And since Sunny Day's up, I cannot spam Thunder because it turns it from 70 accuracy to 50, and now I'm just after the coin flip's chance to do damage. So I just went for Stab Psychic and Stab Shadow Ball. And still went with it to do a lot of damage. It was a lot easier than just spamming Thunder. Thunder would have done a lot of damage, but since I got special defense decrease with Psychic, the special moves are going to be doing a lot more damage now. And now we're nearing the end of this Venus fight, and honestly, this did take me a while. The first 2 attempts, I got very close as well. I got to the final 2 Pokemon of Meganium and Milotic, and the thing with this Colosseum is that if you lose, you don't have to restart the entirety of the rounds again. You just have to start over the round you're doing. So for me, it would have been round 3. And since I had to do round 3 times, it wasn't that bad. I thought I had to do both 1 and 2 again to get up to round 3. But no, that wasn't how it works. So we got a very good save of time. And with that, Venus is gone. Venus is much of an asshole to me, but I'm an asshole to her, so she deserves it. Done with round 3, and we get another email. We get to talk about what it is. After that fight, I went to go buy some healing items from the shop because I was running devilishly low. And you're allowed to leave and come back to do the remaining challenges you have. This is where the last email should be, and they do talk about a Shadow Shuckle. The second to last Shadow Pokemon we need to use is the Shadow Shuckle, and I'm very happy that we have to do that because, well, we get to pick it up. So the Deep King uses the Shadow Shuckle for its fights, And I'm very happy for that because at least we can capture the shadow Pokemon. And I'm very surprised that they actually let you grab the shadow Pokemon and use Pokeballs on the Colosseum challenge, because if they didn't, they didn't. Round 4 is more the same of all that. I just had basically Meganium and Flygon up in the front to do once for damage, once for XP, but legitimately had fun just doing it. And since I had Meganium out, I could spam a lot of EQ to my heart's content, because Meganium is resistant to ground, so it won't take as much damage from the EQs, but I can spam it a bit more. Not haphazardly, but a bit more than I could have. It was just a very funny combination of always using Sunny Day first to get a Solar Beam out, and then immediately get a good Fire Blast to do. But if not, it was just spam Solar Beam to my heart's content and just knock down everyone. Our round 4's fight, and this is the final fight. Round 4's final fight, it's against Ein himself. And this is what I was talking about. Like, basically, if you fight Ein and he did not get his Raikou, you have to go all the way up to round 4 again, because it resets after the final round. We are at Ein, and he starts off with his ace, Manectric, level 65, Lightning Rod for its ability, with the moves Bite, Thunder, Toxic, and Protect, and Gyarados, level 64, Intimidate for its ability, with the moves Hydro Pump, Thunder, Earthquake, and Rain Dance. And if anything, it was that good. I did not expect his ace to come out, because people were talking over some other topics, and I literally interrupted them with saying his ace is out now. And since he has Protect, it does not die immediately from the Earthquake. I mean, I just did damage on my Meganium, but Meganium is still out, so I can do Sunny Day. And then it gets taken out by Rain Dance. But legitimately, the first thing I did was, again, went for Sunny Day the next turn to get rid of that. But since Rain Dance was out, it's gonna be programmed to do Thunder, meaning it's not gonna do Protect, meaning I can do an Earthquake, meaning I can do a good chunk of damage to Manectric and not worry about losing that much Pokemon. It doesn't instantly kill it, which I was very surprised about. But hey, Sunny Day's out. Now if they do Hydro Pump, it won't do as much damage. So yeah, Sunlight is strong. I get to do another Earthquake because I am dumb. I almost button mashed then. But yeah, I most likely did another Earthquake again, trying to do damage. But also tried to just try to read another Protect. So I don't know if I just spammed it again or just went for Gyarados this turn. Well, I was debating it. Since Cipher Admin Ein used X speed, I actually guessed correctly. He used an EQ and took out the Manectric. It was very good. And if anything, very happy that he made a flub and used X speed. Manectric down, his ace is down, which I'm very happy for. Meaning we can get a little better with our fight. Next up is Rhydon, level 63, another Lightning Rod user with its ability with the moves Rock Blast, Toxic, Earthquake, and Protect. Basically, he has 2 Lightning Rod users, so you can't spam Thunder on the other team to get rid of his Gyarados and his other Pokemon, because 3 out of his 5 Pokemon are weak to Thunder since they're Flying type. So if you want to deal the best damage to him, you have to get rid of the Lightning Rod users, which are both weak to ground, funnily enough, and then you can just spam Thunder to your heart's content. Rhydon is down because I got a really good crit EQ, and Mantine is out. Mantine, level 64, Swift Swim for its ability, with the moves Rain Dance, Confuse Ray, Toxic, and Twister. And I always keep forgetting Twister is a Dragon type move. It doesn't instantly kill my Flygon, but I saw a lot of damage. I'm like, all right, Twister's a Dragon type move, not a Flying type move. But the whole point of the confused round is on the Mantine is that you don't have to, so you can't spam damage with like other moves. My beginning is down, but it did do its job perfectly to get rid of, or to do damage on Gyarados with with Solar Beam. Immediately switched in Misdreavus, so I now have a perfect time to just spam Thunder to my heart's content. And it's very fun to do. But since one has Swift Swim and the other one is faster, they're going to be doing damage to me, and since Hydro Pump is on the CPU, it's most likely never gonna miss. Mantine used Toxic, I think, on my Misdreavus. Oh, no, on my Flygon. I thought he could, I forgot he did it on my Flygon. Basically now it's Confusion and Poison on my Flygon, meaning it's just gonna be doing chip damage to itself, or it's gonna take chip damage from the Poison. And since it's Rain Dance, Hydro Pump's gonna be a lot stronger than it usually is. And if anything, I think Flygon does take the, does get stacked from a different move, and I have to bring in, I think, my Quagsire in, because Surf. Thunder does not kill Mantine, it almost does, which I'm very sad for. I think I got a low roll on the Thunder. But, yeah. Other than that, just did the exact same thing. I went for a Crunch to see if I can do damage on the Gyarados or the Mantine. And Mantine used Twister on Misdreavus, and it does not knock out my my Flygon. Very close, but it doesn't knock out my Flygon. But since both of them are faster than my Flygon, they're gonna knock out my Flygon with Hydro Pump. But yeah, the Iron fight wasn't that bad. The only problem was literally just the Gyarados spamming Hydro Pump. And since that Rain Dance is out, I could actually use Rain Dance to my advantage and use Surf, even though they're resistant against it. Thunder come out again, and Mantine is down for the count, and we get his last and final Pokemon. Crobat, level 65, Inner Focus for its ability with the moves Bite, Confuse Ray, Toxic, and Protect. The Protect is there to protect itself from Psychics and Electric-type moves, but I think it used it also to not get damaged by Surf once. And Quagsire took a chunk of damage from that crit Earthquake. I did not expect it to crit, so it was very funny that it did. And, well, my Thunder came out after the confusion to do a lot of damage on the Crobat. I also anticipated the Rain Dance to stop this turn, which is why I wasted a turn with Quagsire to do Rain Dance, but it was the next turn that it was gonna stop on, and I literally misguessed and wasted a turn with Quagsire where I could have done a lot of damage. My Quagsire is down, and there's nothing else I can do about it. It sucks, but hey. Yeah, it is what it is. I took out my Espeon after that because, well, I want to do damage to the Crobat, but knowing my luck and knowing how the AI would act, they would do a Protect to protect against the Crobat if Shadow Ball does not knock out the Crobat. But since it knocked it out, it just gives me two options to attack Quagsire, Gyarados with. So it was just an all-out brawl against the Gyarados. And that's just how it is. It wastes a turn doing Rain Dance, and then we can just do a lot of damage on that. Since it wasted a turn on using Rain Dance, it will just get rid of it. Very simple. A lot more stressful than I wanted it to be, but wasn't that stressful at all. So, our fourth round is done with the Deep Colosseum. We have one more to go, and if anything, a little funny thing happens after that, because I just literally just use my my recording for one last thing. We learn about the Deep King. We also get Dragon Claw from that final fight, and I put it immediately on my Flygon because, well, physical over special. And I'll say this, since I'm done with that and I have to do one more voiceover, because it's not there in the final recording, Dragon Claw saved my ass more than it should have, and it was very funny. I'll talk about it when I do the next voiceover. But yeah, on screen should be the final email talking about the Deep King Agnol. And it's very cool that we finally get the name of, or we get more information on the Deep King, that he's there for us to fight, and he is the strongest person. And if anything, we're just breezing through the final fight, and now the Pokemon are about near the mid-50s now, which is a problem for some of my Pokemon, but not really. It's not really a problem for all my Pokemon, and if anything, we're almost at the final part of this. We're at the semi-final for round 5, and you're not screwed technically if you miss the Shadow Shuckle. You have to just refight everyone all over again to get to round 5 to fight the Shadow Shuckle. But since you're not doing, if you guys are doing the glitch as I am, you're not gonna have that much problems. But that's neither here nor there. We just have one more Pokemon left, and we get to our main act. The final fight of the Deep Colosseum. Deep King Agnol is in the building. And I am very happy that this fight did not go terrible. This fight was really easy for me. His first Pokemon is Shedinja, level 68, Wonder Guard for its ability, meaning it cannot be damaged unless you give it its weakness, with the moves Silver Wind, Shadow Ball, Confuse Ray, and Dig. And Skarmory, level 66, Sturdy for its ability, with the moves Steel Wing, Drill Peck, Sand Attack, and Return. My problem right now is, what do I use, because none of them are weak. My first two Pokemon do not have any of Shedinja's weaknesses, meaning Shedinja is going to be there for a while. So I just went for a Protect on my Espeon to call out a Shadow Ball, and did a Sunny Day immediately with Meganium to get a free Solar Beam. And I was correct. Steel Wing comes out, does not do a lot of damage on Meganium, and Shedinja uses Shadow Ball on my Espeon, which I called correctly. And then after that, when I called it out, I didn't want to spam Protect again, so I just went with double damage on the Skarmory and took the damage with Espeon, expecting it to somewhat survive the Shadow Ball. Skarmory takes the damage from both Psychic and from Solar Beam, and if anything, halfway there to Skarmory's HP. Not bad. Dropback's coming out, knocking out, or not knocking, yeah, almost knocking out my Meganium, but Shadow Ball does come out and knock out my Espeon. Espeon took that whole thing. First Pokemon for me is down, but it did its job in doing damage to Skarmory, so I brought out my my good old Flygon. Since it has Fire Blast, I can do damage on the Shedinja, and just did another oh no, it's not Fire Blast, it's a Crunch on Shedinja, but doing more damage on the Skarmory with Solar Beam, even though it's pretty resistant. Shedinja, though, looks really cool in this. Shedinja is down, meaning our next Pokemon is up. And I'm very happy that this fight was pretty fun. Kingdra, level 70, with Swift Swim for its ability, with the moves Hydro Pump, Dragon Breath, Ice Beam, and a Trap. And also it's a Water Dragon type, meaning I can do damage with it with Dragon Claw, my newly acquired Dragon Claw, but since it has Dragon Breath and Ice Beam, it can knock out my Flygon, which is what it immediately does the next turn. Because, well, I keep forgetting Kingdra has Ice Beam. And I had no other way of doing damage with it because I don't have a grass type because it's also weak to it. I do have Mischievous for Thunder, which is what I tried to do, but I bring in my Fortress to do toxic damage on the Kingdra or toxic damage on the Skarmory. Dragon Claw comes out, and it doesn't kill the Kingdra. It does almost 2/3 of its health. But with Ice Beam, it comes out and knocks on my Flygon, meaning I have to think of another strat to take out the Kingdra, which I'm very sad for, but hey, what happens happens. I brought in my Quagsire for Earthquake and for Rain Spam, and if it does try to do Hydro Pump, it will just hit Quagsire with Water Absorb, I almost said Rain Dish, Water Absorb, and just do a bunch of damage. Double Edge comes out, knocks out, or almost knocks out my Skarmory, because it's resistant. And if anything, I keep forgetting he has Attract. So when the Attract came out on my Quagsire, I got a little called out, but it still did enough. I still knocked it out next turn with the whatever move I used on the Quagsire. Double Edge comes out, knocks out the Skarmory, meaning we are at his next 2 Pokemon. And I keep forgetting about one of them because it doesn't have a weakness. Sableye, level 69, Key Knife for its ability with the moves Feint Attack, Shadow Ball, Aerial Ace, and Confuse Ray. Very fun with Sableye, and since it's not Gen 8, or no Gen 7, no yeah Gen 8, no Fairy types, or Gen 6 technically, no Fairy types, so I cannot use it on the Sableye. Hydro Ball comes out and almost knocks out my my Fortress, and Confuse Ray comes out to do damage on my Quagsire so I don't have to spam moves. And what I did was that the Toxic came out, and if anything, I protected with my Fortress because I wanted to use Earthquake the next turn. Good old Quagsire being infatuated, meaning I cannot do anything for damage. I was just debating on what to do. I just went, screw it, I'm gonna do Protect Earthquake. Protected my Fortress, which was really good because both of the attacks went to my Fortress. And Earthquake does not want to come out because of that. But Earthquake does come out. I knock out the Kingdra because it's almost gone. And I do a lot of damage on the Sableye because it's not that defensive. It's really good damage on the Sableye. So, his next Pokemon is Girafarig, level 68. Early bird for its ability with the moves Return, Psychic, Light Screen, and Thunderbolt. And is also a normal Psychic type, meaning I cannot use Ghost types on it because it doesn't affect it. I went for a double Protect, hoping it would work, and it does work, meaning Quagsire is alive for, or Quagsire, Fortress is alive for another turn because I can use Earthquake because they finally sent that as Confusion. So, Sableye is gone, and Girafarig takes good damage. Sableye is down, and we are at his final Pokemon, and well, it is our final, or our last Pokemon for this one. Shuckle, level 45, with starting for its ability, and he is our Shadow Pokemon for today. With the moves Shadow Rush, Encore, Rest, and Bide. Shuckle in general is a stupid Pokemon, and if anything, I really wanted to use the Shuckle as a meme, but I just said I was just gonna sack my Fortress for the glitch, grab the Shuckle, and then immediately just do another Earthquake because my next Pokemon has Levitate, it's Mischievous, so I can just put out an Earthquake for fun to knock out the Girafarig and beat this fight in record time. I didn't feel that bad when Fortress fell. He did his job. He did 2 Protects, took all of the focus, and I could have just spammed Earthquake to my heart's content. And since Earthquake has not shown up yet, It's gonna come out, knock out the Giraffaric, and we're just gonna have a good old time. We are done with the Deep Colosseum, and we are done with the entirety of this part. We're only missing one more episode. We're missing one more thing, and then we get to the good part that everyone's been waiting for. I see, you are skilled. We are done with the Deep Colosseum. We get no TM from this, we just get money. And, well, soon you're gonna be hearing my reaction to doing the final parts of this video. So, I'm gonna just stay quiet for a bit until he shows up. But, I do show the Shuckle in there. One more Shadow Pokemon, I gotta purify them, and then I have to do Mount Battle. God help me. God rest my soul.
Train of 100 Trials Part 2, baby! I'm not looking forward to that.
I wasn't looking forward to it either, but hey. We just have to do what we have to do. Next time on Pokemon Colosseum, we're going to be leaving the Deep Colosseum to see what else we can do around here. Thank you all for joining me today, and hope you all have a wonderful day.